Okay. And welcome back to another episode of Four Chicks Chatting. I have to start by saying we're only three chicks today. One chick has left the nest, but for a fantastic cause. She was actually on television this morning. And for our local fans, for Fox 29 in Philadelphia, Kristin and her son Mitch were the guests today to talk about Kristin's new book, Thriving Blind. And we couldn't be more proud of her. So when you are finished listening to our podcast, give us a review and a very high rating. You can go right on over to Amazon and pick up Kristin's book, Thriving Blind, and learn all about what these amazing non-sighted people can do. Even sighted people can't do some of these things, which makes it even more amazing. So our topic today is something that I think we can all relate to: doubt. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a big one. It creeps in. It creeps in so fast at all the wrong times.
Yeah, and nobody's immune. I don't care what. The bravest face. Everybody has experienced this at one time or another, and it's always at the worst time. You know, it's always at the time. I think right when you are. There was a book. It's either a book or it's a saying or whatever. And Dave uses this on me a lot because I am incredibly a self-doubter. And, you know, I'm this close to the finish and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Nobody's going to like this. And Dave says, don't stop digging 3 feet from gold.
Oh.
You know what, Dave, I mean.
Isn't he something?
The value bombs that Dave drops.
It's
I think
great.
we need to have him as a guest.
It's great when I can give it out piecemeal, but when he's here and I'm getting hit with this stuff, you just want him to stop. Just stop.
It's like you want the battery to stop, like unplug him. Like, please stop, Dave.
Yeah.
Take the plug. But don't you guys think that that's the case? Everybody experiences it, and it's very often when we're close to finishing that you're just exhausted and you're kind of over the whole thing, whatever it is. And I mean, for me, and I can speak to this personally, we were just talking about Kristin's book, which again is fantastic and we're so proud of her, but I'm working on another book now too, which I just want it done. And now that I'm close enough to that, there's also the part of me that's going, nobody's going to care about this. Why am I even doing this? I spent all this time doing this. Nobody's going to care. Like, how do you get over that?
I think if I can say doubt to me, and let me know if you guys feel the same way, doubt equals fear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you get to that point. So self-doubt is fear of, like you said, well, what if no one likes it? You're afraid that no one likes it, or you're afraid to go to the finish line, or you're afraid to get to that, take that step that's going to get you there. So I always associate that. To me, they're synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right, because there's a judgment part of any time you put something out there, and you are afraid of being judged. So that, I think that's part of it. Yeah. What do you think, Laura?
Afraid that it's not going to work or that nobody's going to come. It's funny because when I first started working on my online course that, I've been diligently doing now and just barely coming up for air. But, I'll say to John, well, is anybody even going to buy this? Like, is anybody even going to want this information? And he's like, where's your confidence? Like, and so,
hello, confidence.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Has anybody seen my confidence? Oh, I know, it's out to lunch with my better judgment.
Exactly. So it's that, it's fear, it's lack of confidence. And doubt. They all three go hand in hand. It's like they're just skipping along together.
Dragging you behind them.
It's like a big anchor that you're just dragging along. Okay, so how do we cut the rope? How do we get rid of that anchor and float away?
That's a really good question. I actually found a really cool article, and where is it? I'm looking as we go. It is in Entrepreneur, on entrepreneur.com of all things. And there's actually a bunch of steps, one of which is know you're not alone. And I think that obviously ties in with what we first said. Everybody goes through this. Everybody goes through this. The second one, which also ties in with what we were just talking about, stop worrying about what others think. And I think that's huge.
You know what? I
Well,
can't. I try. We talk about it. I do the exercises. I can't. I just can't do it.
well, I think that's always a part of it. But you know what? I think at some point you just have to take the leap, and you just have to go. Other people be damned. Not them personally, but what they think.
I think I need a shock collar. Like every time I have that thought, I get zapped.
Can you borrow Charlie's?
I think I might. Charlie, come here, honey. Mom, come see mom.
Here's a good one. Remind yourself of prior successes. And I have a really hard
Ooh.
time with that. I have a hard time with that. And I feel like a lot of us do, because when you're not where you want to be, you tend to get something accomplished. You might enjoy the success for a few minutes, but then it's like, yeah, but nobody's going to care about that tomorrow. So now what? And you're always on to the next thing. So you don't recognize and use those prior successes as a foundation for building your confidence and pushing through doubt the next time.
And that goes
like
alongside with being in the present, which
Yes.
none of us are really very good at. I mean,
Nope, put that in the
some
no
people,
column.
right?
No.
Some people are these people that are able to meditate, and they're I swear, my friend Lee, I swear she's in this constant state of peace. Like,
God bless
she's
her.
not happy.
Can she bottle that? I'll buy some.
I'm over here twitching, but it's like, I don't know how they do it, because my brain is always going to that next thing, like you said. And I think when you don't stop and appreciate the moment, that's when you get into that rut of, well, so what? Now what? What
Yes.
if? Versus taking it and appreciating it and savoring it for the success that it was or is.
I agree. Whenever I hear myself introduced at a speaking gig or whatever, if I listen to it and I don't think about the fact that it's me, I'm like, wow, she's really cool. She's
A
really
rock star.
awesome. That
Who
girl,
is that woman?
she knows what she's doing.
She's got it all going on.
She's got it all together, which clearly I know I do not. But the point being that, as we were just saying, you have to really, sometimes you need to sit down and list them and enumerate them. I always tell women, if you don't know what you're bringing to the table, sit down and write your own introduction, because
Ooh,
that
I like
really does. It really does help clarify, because you have to do it in a really short amount of time, in a short amount of space and words and yada yada. It gets to the heart of your successes. And that's so important in dispelling the doubt in the present. Past successes can help dispel doubt in the present. Tweetable.
That's so
That's
funny
a
you
really
say.
good one.
Write it down now. I had a girls' weekend, and whoever's listening, guys, I know you'll all remember this. And I said, okay, I'm going to lay on the couch and pretend I'm dead. And I want all of you guys to say my obituary, what you would say at my eulogy. Like, write a eulogy for me, because I want to hear what you think about me now.
Oh, I'll bet they were honest too, because you were dead. Nobody was thinking that you were listening to them.
No, but I think that's funny. The way you said it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to write something great about myself. Who cares about what people think of me?
Well, that's
Right?
it. Right. It goes
I
back
should
to
do
that
it.
other point.
Mhm.
You should do it.
Yep.
Oh, and here's the value bomb there. You can write it down, but you have to believe it.
Yes.
Oh, Robyn.
Always making it harder.
Way to bring it down.
Seriously, though, you can write all you want, but if you don't take it to heart,
I know.
my vision board at the studio, it's got this big word confidence across it. And it's like a constant reminder to me, because, I didn't write it down, I glued it, but still it's it's a constant reminder, because I lose it every day. Those negative thoughts creep in. I have to shush them out. They're like cobwebs, and I've got my little duster in there
to clean out, get the dust buster and suck them out of there.
Well, I found this quote, and talk about bringing it down here.
Oh, dear.
Listen to this. The fundamental cause of the trouble is that in the modern world, the stupid are cocksure, while the intelligent are full of doubt. Now, I'm not calling anybody stupid, but
love that.
Is that not a true statement?
I think it is.
I had a client named Bob, and he would say, we would talk about somebody, and he would go, because you're stupid. Because you're stupid. And as soon as you said that, Robyn, I was instantly brought back to that guy's office because you're stupid. But that's funny because I totally agree with that. The ones that come in all, confident and like all peacock-like and like blah, 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 and they say something, there's no thought behind it. And they come across as, I think if they hear themselves talk or like you said, maybe they don't believe it. So therefore they have to just talk and talk and talk. And they come across as silly. While the intelligent, I think, take the time to actually think before they speak and process and know the meaning of what they're going to say, know the impact of what their words are going to be on somebody. I like that quote.
I do too. And, as you were talking, I was thinking about it. I wonder if there's a level of vulnerability that is higher in people that are not. I mean, obviously, if you don't have a lot of self-confidence, you're going to feel more vulnerable. But if you've got these cocky people, and for whatever reason, they're so loaded with confidence, whether they have the wherewithal to make good decisions or not, they have all this confidence. So they don't feel as vulnerable because for some reason they just believe in themselves. Whereas those of us who are, listen, I'm calling us all smart.
Thank you.
We are.
Those of us who, are more intellectual, it's like you think these things, but then you're like, wait, can I really say that? Because what if people don't understand it? Or what if people misinterpret? I don't know. I think it all goes hand in hand.
There's a measure of thoughtfulness that goes with people, I think, who are smart, for lack of obviously we're categorizing very broadly here, but there's a measure of thoughtfulness that goes along with that where you are willing to, there's a measure of doubt that's not always bad because it causes you to question. It causes you to do exactly what you said, Robyn. Can I say this? Is this appropriate? Is this right? So in those ways, I think doubt can be helpful. The problem is that the people who don't have that ability to question whether they're correct or not, I kind of want to make a distinction between the word confidence and bravado. That was the word that kept coming to my mind.
Yes,
Excellent.
Because bravado is bluster. It's like, yeah, I can do this, I know, but it's not necessarily grounded on a firm foundation. It's all bluster. It's bravado. There's a difference between that and confidence. I think the difference is thoughtfulness.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about humility as well?
Oh, boy.
Kathy's never going to talk to me again.
Any minute
My
now.
head is exploding.
Scrape her off the floor.
Kath, you want to come over for a cup of coffee, please?
With a shot of something else in it, please. It's not too early, right? It's almost 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's almost 11 in Bermuda. Okay, so here's one from the William Shakespeare. Bob Marcino would love this because Bob Marcino is such an English weirdo. But he doesn't listen to the podcast, so
he'll never know that he would.
He'll never know. But here he goes. Bill was ahead of his time. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt.
I love that.
Yes, I used the word oft.
Oft. You sound so sophisticated.
Shouldn't I, though? I should be on the stage. I'm going to say it again, just because.
Say it again.
I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to stand on my dais here. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt.
I love that. And you know what? That is so true, because if we don't do it, if I don't put this online course out there, I'll never know if it's going to help anybody else. And the reality is it's got a ton of value. It's going to help so many people build their brand, but I have to believe that they're going to come. So
if I don't attempt they will come. Isn't that a line from a movie? Field of Dreams, anybody?
Yeah.
Kevin Costner. Yeah. Kevin Costner, if you're listening, we love you.
That's so profound, because it just sums it all up. If you allow doubt to take root, you will prevent yourself from even knowing. And sometimes that's the worst thing. Failing is not necessarily the worst thing.
No, I think we
not
talked about that
trying
before.
and not therefore not knowing whether it could have been something successful or not. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, not taking the action in the
Yeah.
first place
Mhm.
is really the failure there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, the news cycle, the news cycle that we have in this world is so fast and so constant. Even if you screw up colossally, it'll be news for a nanosecond. And then
Mhm.
everybody's going to forget about it. So when you really put that in perspective, you have to look doubt in the face and go, you know what? You're boring me. Go away.
Mhm.
You're boring.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm trying to see this where is this thing? Okay. Surround yourself with the right people when you're talking about doubt. And we talk about this all the time about finding your tribe, that you have to, when you are doubting yourself, you need to go to those people who know what you bring to the table and who recognize your value. And 9 times out of 10, you don't see yourself the way other people see you.
Mm.
So if you need a shot of that confidence to overcome a current doubt, then you need to tap into your tribe or your village or those people who recognize your value.
I know you guys see me as a supermodel,
Mhm.
Always.
but I don't see that. I just don't see it. But I appreciate the fact that you guys do. So yeah, surround the people that think you're a supermodel.
Yeah.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be seen like that? Yeah.
But I think we're it's so easy for us to say this, right? Go out, do it, be brave, don't kick doubt's ass. But maybe we have to say, don't. Let's be realistic here. Don't put yourself in a situation where the stakes are too high.
Oh. Yeah.
So
Sure.
don't pick those goals where they might not be attainable. And then all of a sudden it's only going to lead to doubt. So it's like, don't just set yourself up for it. I think we're all smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think, and one of the other things that this guy says in this article is, don't be hung up on instant success. And the way when I speak to a lot of groups of women, I say to them, don't be hung up on outcomes, because just because whatever this thing is that you're trying to push through or push out there, just because it didn't work in exactly the way you wanted, doesn't necessarily mean it's a failure also. And sometimes it takes an evolution and some time before you see the benefit in something. So the bottom line comes back to, again, don't burn the barn or whatever and make the stakes so high, but also don't be afraid to do it, because if it doesn't exactly work out the way you wanted, that doesn't mean that it shouldn't have been out there in the first place. There may be something that comes out of it down the road. You can't be married to what you think is supposed to happen in your head. You just can't.
Right. There's no control. Yeah, there are
Right.
things that are out of your control.
And I fully believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So, if the outcome isn't exactly how you had mapped it out, chances are there's going to be positive there anyway. And it's probably better. And then the one you actually desired the most will come at another time.
Or in another form.
Another form.
And that's okay too. I think that a lot of the doubt comes from, this is what I'm going to start, this is what I want it to be, this is what I expect is going to happen, and then when it doesn't, we beat ourselves up. But if you can take a step back and kind of release things and not be a total control freak about where it goes once you've put it out there, because the variables are the world. The variables are, when you're in a situation where you're doing anything and it's not completely self-contained, the variable is the rest of the world, or your market, or your whatever. So there is going to always be a measure of uncertainty with that. You have to be willing to release that and see where it lands before you evaluate the whole thing and beat yourself up because it wasn't what you expected. There might be something else there.
And don't scrap it just because it wasn't
Right.
what you expected.
Tweak it. Maybe you just need to reevaluate. There's nothing wrong with that either. I think everything is a work. I don't know one part of anyone's life that in some way was not a work in progress. It's always a work in progress. And you can always, a lot of times you can revisit and figure out what you need to fix.
Well, we're all works in progress, are we not?
I beg your pardon.
Well, I am. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Kath. I forgot. You're a supermodel.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
You're a brilliant supermodel at that.
You are a brilliant supermodel.
I just went from smart to brilliant. Look at that.
There you go.
In a
And
nanosecond.
less than 20 minutes. There's another phrase I think of when I think of doubt. I think of fear, and I think of Mary Fran. Forgive me if this is in the book of dirty words, but maybe this could be in your next book. What if?
Oh, it's the worst.
What if?
It's the worst.
I'd love to do this, but what if?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if? I'd like to get in shape. What if? So I think we need to scrap that too.
Well, none of us have a crystal ball. None of us can see what's going to happen regardless. None of us can see what's going to happen when we start dinner. It might burn. It might be awful. The milk might have sour. I mean, you don't know.
Now, I did make a chicken cordon bleu last night, and yes, I said
impressive. That's
Chicken
impressive.
cordon bleu.
I'm already like, whoa. What did I do? I opened up, I don't know, Cheerios? I don't remember.
Well, that's typically what happens, but last night, I don't know why. Anyway, I left it in too long. Now, it looked delicious, but the last thing you want to serve the children is raw chicken. And so it got a little dry. So I had no control.
And you know what? There's always barbecue sauce or, ketchup, which I can't understand why anybody puts that on eggs. But hey, that's just me. So you just don't know. You don't know. So to continually torment yourself with what ifs, you do that to infinity and beyond. Buzz Lightyear is going to be in the show notes as a resource, by the way.
Oh, I hope so.
There we go.
Not that movie
that
made
out
me
there.
cry.
What if we changed the what ifs from a negative to a positive? What if this is a success? What if
that's
I
great.
impact other people by doing what I want to do? Impact them in a positive way.
So when the what ifs come up, if you have to hear the negative one, spin it to a positive one. I like that. Very practical.
What if I make $1 million?
What if?
What if?
If this leads to an amazing opportunity.
What if I'm asked again to be on the Victoria's Secret Angels fashion show? I mean, what if? It's going to happen, ladies. It just happens to be.
No
it's going to be in the nursing home.
No doubt. There you go.
I will put those wings on.
The nursing home edition of the Victoria's Secrets. I think we just came up with a great idea.
Scrub your brain of those images. All of us in a nursing home with our Victoria's Secret undies on.
With my big wings.
Oh, girls, I think on that we might want to wrap up. Our squirrel brains have gone way up the tree.
I'm glad you stopped me because I was about to say something just totally inappropriate. So thank you for that.
Inappropriate and impure.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like it. Yeah.
All right. So it's time for our squirrel brain roundup. All right, guys, why don't you leave us all with a brilliance bomb?
Okay. So I'm just looking back over these little things that this guy said. I think it's probably remind yourself of prior successes. I think that's really, that has become a thing for me because I think people have to recognize that you have built on something to get where you are. So remember that. And remember how you felt when you started whatever it was in the past that was completed and was a success for you. You didn't know any more at the beginning of that, how it was going to turn out, than you know at the beginning of this thing. So remind yourself of prior successes and just put it out there.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's when those thoughts of doubt creep in, turn them around to something positive. So take that extra effort, and it's going to be effort. It's not easy to do, but it's something I think we all have to work on, and just turn those around. What if this is a success? What if I positively impact other people? That's it. That's all I've got today.
I like that. That's enough.
I think we should all remember that nobody is rooting for us to fail.
Yes.
At least I hope not. But I'm gonna put it out there that nobody is rooting for us to fail. So just go ahead and just do it.
If it does fail, you'll be yesterday's news before you know it, and you can move on to the next thing. It's not that important. It shouldn't be a life-altering event.
No, I will learn something from it for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. I love that.
So thank you all for joining us today. Please follow us on that social thing: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram for sure. Follow our Instagram stories. We do a lot of pictures on there. A lot of times you look at the Instagram, you're scrolling, but once you go in the story, you might learn a little bit more. So take the time and do that. We have some phenomenal guests coming up. So please tune in, and to keep us bringing these phenomenal guests on, please go out to iTunes and give us a review. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear about it. If you like some topics that we haven't covered yet, we'd love to hear about that too. So thanks again, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.